Okay, I was gonna do this whole thing. I had a script. I had Mars, the Bringer of War, selected as the background music. I was gonna do this whole big thing for this review, this showcase of the Plutonian custom. But last night I realized that wasn't gonna work because, well, I'll get to that in a minute. This is, in fact, the long-awaited showcase video for the Plutonian custom, formerly known as WWE Elite Randy Orton. I might as well point out the obvious. In the last videos I made featuring this figure, the chest paint was different. The black went all the way down to the middle of his abdominal muscles, and it looked a lot different than the actual character. The logo was different too. It looked like a crown with a jewel in the center. Well, I went back and I freehand painted that, and now it looks more accurate to the comics. And I even went back and repainted the back of the figure. And yes, that is a bright yellow bald spot kind of on the back of his head because the original brown wash did not look accurate. The articulation is all still present. He still has type 1 ball jointed shoulders, swivel biceps, single hinge elbows, hinge, swivel wrists, ab crunch, ball joint neck that doesn't want to turn properly. That's the ab crunch again. Swivel waist, type 1 ball joint hips, thigh swivels, double hinged knees. All the hinge joints have been protected from paint rub by super glue, which is a very neat trick. Swivel ankles and rocker / hinge ankles. Now I want to get to why I'm now disillusioned with this whole thing. Right here, the ab crunch is uneven on one side, and it continues in the back. I just noticed that last night, and it infuriated me. Because this figure is like 99.999 whatever percent done, and to just now notice that the ab crunch is screwed up was very disheartening. I mean, this figure is supposed to be done. It is done. This figure is finished. There's nothing left to do with it. And yes, I know he doesn't wear gloves in the comics, but I was originally going to make it look like he had punched through someone's chest and his hands were covered in blood. That didn't turn out well, so I just said, okay, screw it, I'm giving him gloves. And to be fair, I did a pretty good job painting his hands to look like gloves. There's no slopping of the paint, there's no pooling, it looks uniform. I even managed to make the square pad on the backs of his hands look pretty consistent. I mean, it's all, I got the belt colored correctly. I was able to get a paint pen, an actual paint pen, not just a Sharpie Magnum, but an actual honest-to-God paint pen. This right here, I was able to use this paint pen for the details that I needed to use it for. And I was so psyched to do this video, because I hadn't been able to do a video showing off the Plutonian custom. And then lo and behold, I go to put it on the shelf last night, and I notice, once again, the ab crunch. This is not my fault. The ab crunch being uneven is not my fault. That is the design of the figure. That is the sculpt of the figure. This is not just paint issue. This is not just... Because when you move the ab crunch up and down, you see this is how it was sculpted. It was sculpted poorly. This is Mattel's fault. And if you go on OAFE.net and read any of their reviews from Mattel products, especially the Starfire and Adam Strange 2-pack from DC Universe Classics, they will tell you that Mattel's cost-cutting sucks. Because it does. It sucks. And my grand vision for this figure is not screwed up by Mattel. I mean, yes, the ab crunch looks off, but other than that, everything's fine. I wanted this figure to look this way. I wanted this figure to look like the Plutonian. Personally, I think it looks better than even I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to look like Vanellope's custom-designed cart from Wreck-It Ralph. When she has Ralph help her design her own cart, and it looks like a glob of frosting with a bunch of mismatched bits on it. I thought this custom was going to end up looking a lot like that. Thankfully, I was wrong. Because this custom, as it turns out, looks pretty damn close to what the Plutonian's supposed to look like. Yes, I know that the back part of his costume probably doesn't look the most accurate. Yes, I know that the belt doesn't look accurate because it has these pods on the side. Maybe if they wanted to do a movie based on Irredeemable, maybe this is what they could have the Plutonian look like. Maybe this is what the Plutonian would look like if he was able to Actually, I'm not even going to finish that sentence. I don't want to spoil the ending of Irredeemable for anyone who hasn't read it. I haven't read it yet, but I've read the TV Tropes page. All I'm saying is, just because Mattel couldn't make a good Randy Orton figure, that's not going to stop me from saying that this is a good Plutonian custom. Yes, he's too skinny. Yes, he's a little bit too tall. Yes, the ab crunch sucks. But you know what? I made a good custom figure despite all of that. Just because the base figure sucks, that doesn't mean the custom sucks. I was able to take a generic figure of a guy in black underwear, pretty much, Randy Orton, and turn it into one of the most destructive XPs of Superman ever. I was able to take someone who looked like your generic, average pro wrestler and turn him into probably the only person who could kill Superman with his bare hands, other than Doomsday. This is the Plutonian. This is no longer Randy Orton. In my mind, this is not a Randy Orton figure anymore. This is the Plutonian. These arm lines are crisp, finally. I was able to get the arm lines looking crisp. The gloves look nice, even though he doesn't wear gloves in the comics. Long story short, I started this review off being pissed off at Mattel for designing a cruddy ab crunch. Now I'm not even pissed off. Now I can safely say that in spite of their stupidity, in spite of the incompetent design of this figure, I think I did a good job with this custom. This is my Plutonian custom, and no, there are not many others like it. But this one is mine, and if you get that reference, you are awesome. This has been the Plutonian Custom Action Figure Showcase video. Sorry I don't have Mars Bringer of War in the background. I didn't have a script to go off. I had a script, but I didn't use it. This is my video. This is my custom figure. I'm proud of it. If you like it, tell me so in the comments. Thank you for watching.